Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode. This is weird, isn't it? Look at this. We're back. Draft to Glory. The team that we started on a charity stream, the old Peg City Pride. We're kicking it old school with this episode, and for the rest of this series, I think I'm going to do the majority of this, if not all of it, kind of off stream like we used to do. I've been playing so much F1 on stream that I don't really have time to play NHL as well. We're also roster editing at this point to try and get my final update of the year out there with all the updated draft stuff and all the free agent moves and all of that. So it's a very busy time. This is the best opportunity that I have to continue on with the series because we have a decent little core here that I don't just want to kind of fade away into nothing. I think this team really could be something. So we are going to continue on. The lines this season, Sweat, Bedard, and Escalainen, which is phenomenal. Second line is Coistinan, still that low elite, 20 years old. Alexander Zetterberg and Gilbert Corbet, who will hopefully get a little bit better this year. You got Vladimir Antropov, who, it's a risk, but 20 years old, we might as well go for it. Vic Stolars and Parker Eberle, who's the big one, who hopefully we will see an Escalainen-like development pattern. Fourth line, Norm Morrissey with Austin Roast and Marcus. Again, we're going to go with Nguyen. Defensively, it's also a little bit interesting. Of course, Lou Morales is still here alongside now Salvador Doan, that number one overall pick that we just picked up in the past draft. Kevin Korchinski, Chicago legend, alongside George Albrecht. And on that third pair, Christian Bacher is with Harry Gannon. So we're definitely risking it in terms of development patterns for some of these younger guys to just get to the big show and see if they can develop. Hopefully they do. And if they don't, then hey, what do we have to lose? I mean, again, some of these guys might develop better in the AHL, but at the same time, I think we've kind of seen, really over the past couple of years, but especially in NHL 22, if somebody's not going to develop, then boy, they're just not going to develop, and there's nothing you can really do about it. I think that's kind of not necessarily a problem. I mean, it's kind of nice, but at the same time, I think I like it more in a game like NBA, where you see a player's floor and see a player's ceiling as well. It'd be nice to kind of have that in this game. My God, would it be nice to have so much that's going against so many other games. Look at the Madden franchise trailer that just came out. That has features I've been asking for years and years. But I think it would be really cool to have that NBA style where it's like, okay, this guy could be a nobody or he could be amazing. And at least that way we'd have no room to complain when for some random reason somebody doesn't develop. But for now, start of this season, we're doing okay. I mean, 11 wins already. I certainly don't expect this to be a playoff team, but it's pretty obvious with the goaltending that we have and the strong core of talent that has already developed. We probably won't be with the number one odds in the draft unless we really kind of fall apart in the back half of the season. We might be too good to lock down the number one probability. So we'll see how it plays out. Don't know if we'll do a stop for the midway point of the season or not. I mean, might make it a bit obvious by the length of this episode because of how fast these seasons sim now. Back in the day when this is how I recorded every single series, of course, the sim speeds were a hell of a lot slower. The Xbox One days. Let's list ourselves as buyers. Why not? Doesn't change anything. Of course, we never partake in the trade deadline. We almost have an identical record to the Oilers as we played them. So eat your heart out, Connor McDavid. We have Connor Bedard. Connor's better. Oh my God, though. Look at this. How close we are to 500 still. I mean, the overtime loss is certainly adding up, and there we go. Getting some losses here towards the end. So April 3rd, 35, 40, and 4, we definitely won't have the top lottery odds for the very first time, if I am not mistaken there. 36, 42, and 4 is the final record. And indeed, the regular season has come to an end. Oh my goodness. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's focus on the standings, as we didn't even finish at the bottom of our own division. Toronto Maple Leafs have won the President's Trophy. We finished 27th in the league, so indeed, number one odds, not very likely this year. Hopefully we still end up with a top 5 pick, but I don't think you can really bank on that. We averaged over 3 goals a game, which wasn't bad. Our offense is actually up there, 7th in the league right now. The problem, obviously, the 3rd worst goals against average. So if our defense and goaltending can improve, then we do have a decent little chance of succeeding in the relatively near future. Let's take a look at the team so we can mainly see some of the overalls here. Gavin Sweat, up to 84 points this season after just posting 56, and just 56 in his rookie year. Great season for Gavin Sweat. We already saw that Connor Bedard led the way, back-to-back 100-point seasons now, and a career-high 110 this time out. And Jyrki Escalainen also over the 100-point mark with 33 goals and 74 assists. Unreal, that top line, despite very little overall changes. Then we have Sammy Coistinan, now a new career high of 70 points. He's gotten better every single year. Defensively, still not amazing, obviously. Centered by Zetterberg, 76 points. He continues to get better every single year. And Corbeil, obviously a little bit out of his element. 34 points isn't too bad, but obviously he is not the guy to have in a second-line spot yet. Vladimir Antropov, a 68 overall. He had 20 points as a rookie. Obviously won't be in the Calder running. Vic Stolarz, 27 points for him, minus 42. And then Parker Eberle is only a 61, at least at the moment. So depth scoring was a big issue. Norm Morrissey, I think, just went up 9 overall points, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he was a 64. So that worked out pretty well. Good for Norm. Austin Roast up to a 77. New career high. Actually, no, he had 13 points in his rookie year. And then Marcus Nguyen with 25 points. We know he's a good 25 to 40-point guy, really, depending on what line he's on. So not too bad, but very top-line heavy, very star-heavy. Defensively, Morales, 28 points. That's a new career high. Best plus-minus he's ever had in his career as well. I don't know if he'll ever be a plus player by the end of his career. Salvador Doan in his rookie season. We needed an offensive defenseman. He does get 8 goals, 34 points in total. Not too bad, but not amazing. Kevin Korchinski with a new career high of 31 points in what was already his 4th season with the club. And Albrecht with 18 points and a minus 6 in his 2nd season with the team. Again, he spent last season in the AHL. Third pair, Christian Bacher. Not too bad, new career high in pretty much all regards. And then Harry Gannon up to a 67, or was he always there? Kind of tough to remember where some of these guys were. We'll take a look at the goaltenders next. Bobrovsky an 895, but a 911 for Cirelli, so perhaps a little bit promising there. AHL-wise, Machalski with a 902, and a 903 for Desmond Blacker, so not the best, right? Not the best. And defensively, we didn't get much from Humphrey or Stephen Clark, and that kind of raises the question of what to do with them in the near future. Freddie McCutcheon as well at a 78. Next season, do we go with the highest ratings as opposed to the highest potentials? I think there's enough reason to go in that direction if we're not seeing enough development out of these guys that we're kind of rushing. At the same time, playing the guys with the better potentials will allow us to hang around towards the bottom half of or really towards the top half of the draft order for a little bit longer. As Connor Bedard led the NHL in scoring, he and Escalainen were both top 3. That is insanity. Nathan MacKinnon, 63 goals. Of course, again, he ended up in Carolina. I don't think he'll be able to do that once we get our new franchise going. Of course, Carolina bringing in Pacioretty and Brent Burns. They won't exactly have the money to do that. Defensively, Pesci was great. D'Angelo, of course, there. Kel McCarr. Goal scoring 26 for Thomas Chabot. And in goal, Dan Vladar was the winningest. Technically, Connor Hellebuck had a better win percentage. 8 shutouts for Mad Sjogard. And save percentage-wise, Connor Hellebuck or maybe UC Saros, but I think Hellebuck should win the Vezina. The rookie race, Nicholas Trevelyan, has likely won the Calder. No real surprise there. I mean, Salvador Doan represented our best opportunity, and it's not too likely for a defender to win that award. So that is another season in the books. Just like that, you get a look there at the playoff trees. Feel free to pause the video, or the playoff brackets. Feel free to pause the video if you care. For us, we don't really have to care about the playoffs still. It's Draft to Glory. we're still within the first 5 to 10 seasons, so it's never going to be all that close in terms of us caring about the playoffs. Although, man, again, if this team keeps getting better, if we play the best overall guys, I think we can make it. Buffalo wins the Stanley Cup. Take a look at their team. But again, that is kind of the debate. We could go with the best overall guys, but we do want to hang around with as high of a draft pick as we can possibly get still for the next couple of years as the Sabres beat the Flames in 6 games in the Stanley Cup final. I'm sure it was Owen Power and company. That's awkward, Flames fans, isn't it? As we go to the Sabres, Peyton Krebs, of course, they ended up with Matvei Michkov, Larry Nichushkin, which of course wouldn't happen unless they traded for him now that he has that new extension. But a decent amount of young talent there for the Sabres. And then there's Jeff Skinner. But Owen Power, Rasmus Dahlin, they got a guy by the name of Rudy Collins. And in goal, Eric Portillo is the winning goaltender there. So we have had a different cup winner, I do believe now, every single year. Individual awards, the Art Ross to Connor Bedard, and I don't think that'll be the only time that he wins it. Kirill Kaprizov, though, won the Hart, which is a joke. Michael Matheson, that's also a bit interesting, but he won the Norris, which is hilarious. Obviously, he just traded yesterday. Connor Bedard wins another Lady Byng. Trevelyan does win the Calder. Krebs, the Conn Smythe. Hellebuck wins the Vezina, rightfully so. We got a couple of the other awards that are less important. Perfetti wins the Selke for the first time. Kaprizov wins the Ted Lindsay, and McKinnon won the Rocket Richard. In the AHL, Joachim Blichfeld put up the most points. He was also league MVP. Some dude named Hamel scored the most goals. That's got to be Ron Swanson. I'm sure he was top rookie. Jared Spurgeon, top defender. Marilyn, best goaltender. And I believe that's Cutter Gauthier was the MVP of the playoffs. Of course, in that upcoming roster update, there's nothing we can do in terms of like, oh yeah, make sure Cutter Gauthier is on Philly. I mean, you can, but then the ages get messed up, so that won't happen. But obviously, like Cutter Gauthier's stock went up quite a bit. Speaking of stock, lottery odds. Come on now. Get us back into that top 5. Let's go, baby. Us and Washington. Washington moves up from 8-1. We move up from 7-2. You love to see it. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So we'll have the second overall pick as we get a look here at a myriad of players to retire with over 1,000 career points. Taylor Hall and Evander Kane are also gone pretty early on at age 35. Oh, that's amazing that we just moved up to the second overall pick. Absolutely huge. I was hoping just to get a medium elite player. Now if the AI screw up that number 1 pick, we have a really interesting opportunity ahead of us here. Let's see. Okay, so there's no franchise player. Our scouts are targeting 2 gems. Now it's all forwards, so we're definitely getting forward help. Nikolai Malakoff looks like he'll be the guy. Ooh, he's got Schneip, Heat Seeker, Beauty Backhand. Let's take a look at Marcus Lautner. I mean, the grades aren't as impressive. NHL ready. Has quick draw, though. Definitely looks like more of a two-way centerman. And then there is Evan Tallinder. Great point totals. Attributes look a little bit better. He also has the Kane comparison. And he is definitely more of the playmaker. So really, we have the sniper, the playmaker, and the two-way, even though it has Malakoff. Well, at 3 out of 4 for two-way, he really should be more of a sniper. So it really comes down to winger or centerman at this point. Again, defender isn't really an option for us at this stage. Just to take a look here to see if there was any further development. Not really. But of course, goalie-wise, we're not looking that bad. Defensively, looks like Korchinski went up a little bit. Doan went up a little bit. Like I said, I think we can get away with trying to get people to develop as best we can. But at the same time, you know, someone like Clark, how much is he going to benefit in the AHL compared to the NHL? Right wing, no denying. I mean, while Corbet and Morrissey are there, an elite second-line right wing would be phenomenal right now. Left-hand side, we're set. Center, we're set. I think we're looking at that right wing playmaker. I think we are. He is the absolute perfect fit for this team and what we need right now. Washington at number 1. Take Malakoff, who was an 84. Good Lord. Basically, I mean, he's a bit smaller, but he basically is the next Ovi for them. For us, we have our guy. I do think Lautner could end up being pretty damn good, but based off of positional need, and honestly, what we're seeing with those attributes, it's Evan Tallinder. He's the guy for us from the Prince Albert Raiders. He's an 82, medium elite, and he has shock and awe, ankle breaker, tape to tape, and send it. Honestly, he has a good shot, but yes, indeed, he is a playmaker. And 3rd overall, the Islanders take Lautner, who would have been a huge mistake. Wow, we nailed it. We nailed it with that Tallinder pick. Indeed, Lautner, listed as the two-way. Yeah, that wouldn't have been the guy. He might honestly be more of a middle 6 than a top 6. More likely to find himself on the 3rd line than the top line. So Tallinder, huge addition to this team. And to be honest, we might not be able to keep this team down all that far. The top 6 is set. We might have to just go for it starting next year. I mean, just the gift of 7th overall to move up like we just did, that might just be what propels us that much more forward. Man, Ackerland would have been great. What a pickup for Vancouver. But let's see who we have here in the 2nd round. You got Dakota Bishop, potentially 3 years out, confirmed, has in reverse and off the rush as a defender. And then there was Robinson Banting. 3 years out, no X Factors. Harry Klubertans, also apparently 3 years out. Ooh, low elites. This guy's 4 years out, but the low elite, Vitaly Grabeshkov. Oh my God. Well. I wonder who we're taking. That's no longer a debate now, is it? That is a steal of all steals. Central Scouting has him at 57. Or 47. Our scouts have him almost at 57. Yeah, it's just not even a question. There is Leduc. Ooh. Oh, almost 1 year out, but he's 20. The 2nd round is stacked, man. Absolutely stacked, but yeah, we have our guy. It's the low elite for sure. Leduc can suck it. Grabeshkov, probably our 3rd line center next year. Vitaly Grabeshkov, come on down. 63 low elites, and we already know he has a full house of abilities. Ridiculous. I guess the big question is, do we let him develop, or do we just sign him and see what he can do at the NHL level? But that's just monstrous. What a way to start off this draft. Like, it's gross that we just got 2 players of that caliber. And really, look at the quality here in this 2nd round. We really couldn't have gone wrong. Byzantine was a medium elite goalie. Ooh, what do you guys think? I think we made the right choice. Leduc is a 72 at 20 years old, though. I think we made the right choice with Grabeshkov. Just for the abilities alone. I think we made the right choice, but really it would have been tough to screw up that 2nd round pick. 3rd round. Third round. That dude's 3 years out. Maybe not the highest ceiling in the world. He's 3 years out, so he obviously takes priority. Also 3 years out. Keith confirmed 3 years out. Oh, man. There's the unconfirmed medium 6, but he's 4 years out. Andy Schlemko. Obviously, we're going to aim pretty high here. We don't know enough about Ryan Thomas, but could be a good overager. Brendan Chung, not looking too hot. This medium 4, Zane Gore. No. I mean, 4 years out at 17, though, is actually not that bad. He'll be a low 60, more than likely. There's no slam dunk selection. 6'5" center, Jesus. There's no slam dunk pick for us right here. This is where we start to risk it a little bit. There is the medium starter goalie. He'll be like mid-60s for his ratings. I don't really know if we have to risk it on a goalie. We kind of already have some decent goaltending. Are there any confirmed? There are. And there's Shing Time a little bit later on, whose rating will suck at 19 years old. So there's Vikland a little bit later on. Do we have a confirmed low elite? No, we don't. And then we don't have a confirmed medium top 6 either. Yeah, at this stage, make sure that we end up with a Vikland a little bit later on in the draft. He's 20 years old. I mean, he's never going to make it, but we'll make sure we end up with him. So until then, we just got to kind of risk it. It's pretty much all we can do. So out of our pinned players, we'll remove Loktionov. We'll remove Harrison. So we could go for Gore or Thomas, or we risk it for the 2 out of 4 in terms of scouting accuracy, Antropov or Keith. Honestly, I think we lean towards Thomas or Gore, and Gore's 17, man. He should be okay. Let's go for Zane Gore, the defender. Right-hand side as well out of Red Deer. He is a 60 medium top 6. Okay. It's obviously not great. It's not horrific. But I'm going to guess we left a great player available here. Maybe not. It's just a bunch of mediums so far. Jenner. We never even saw Jeff Jenner. Medium elite. Would have been nice. He was never in contention for us. Okay. It would have been really tough. Jenner was the guy to get. And Chung was a medium fringe. Jenner was the guy to get. But we didn't have enough info there. Gaspard Lalancette, 5 years out. Ugh. What about Aiden Shugihara? He looks like garbage. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. This is starting to look pretty bad. There is Urkamps, 20 years old. A lot of overage players in this draft. That's weird. You don't see that as much as you used to back in the day with like NHL 17. The glory days. This is the time to take Vikland. We'll aim high. Liam Vikland out of HBK. 54 medium elite at 20 years old. Again, he's the type of guy that you just kind of rush to the NHL level to try to get him to develop. There's Allen, Detroit. They got a nice medium elite goalie there. So knowing that we don't have too much to go off of, Taylor Jennings is there. Taylor Jennings. There is also Shing Time in goal. Then there is Marcos Nielsen, Halischuk. A couple of guys that are kind of worth considering here. All right, then we get to where we're selecting next. So let's see. I mean, the 3 out of 4 and Alan Shing Time. Not that I trust it. It's either Shing Time or Jennings. And honestly, I think I'd rather go for Jennings. Shing Time's going to take forever. Let's do it. Let's go for Taylor Jennings from the Brandon Wheat Kings. 66 medium top 9. It's not too bad. Look, man, we can't complain. Like, think about that. The first 2 picks, we get Vikland as well, even though he's a super long shot to make it. I'm not complaining at all. This has been a much better draft than we had any business actually being a part of. And now we're kind of down to the last few options, and we will aim pretty high at this stage. Next logical guy to take is the goaltender, Marcus Rodin. We'll hope for the best. I'm not expecting much here at all. 55 medium backup. That sounds about right for the 6th round. And then in round number 7, 3 guys to take. We'll rule out the 2 low elites, and we'll aim for Gustavo Reagan. He's 20, though. Maybe not. 19 and 4 years out. I think we go for Kurt Correa. Just because it's not 5+ years. Kurt Correa, right defender, low 6. Okay. So, all in all, we didn't get much, end-to-end in that draft, but we did strike some gold thanks to the lottery and that ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous 2nd-round pick. So looking here, in terms of what we're going to do heading into next season, obviously we got Bobrovsky, we got Sorelli. We will, I hate to say it, but Eve Gascon, she needs to be dropped because we need to sign Elliott. Well, actually, I guess she doesn't need to be dropped. She's just never going to play. Yeah, I mean, we can keep her for another season. But obviously, in terms of like high-end goaltender potential for us, it's just not there. Defensively, obviously going to qualify all of our dudes, but that is the big question right now heading into next season. How do we approach the team? Do we go off of the best overall available? Honestly, even Cohen Packard we can probably keep. I don't know if I'll qualify him yet. We should be able to make that work, even though you're terrible. You know, do we sign the Bakers of the world? Or do we just wait to see if they develop, or do we try to force the issue? It's basically what we're looking at, right? And I genuinely don't know what direction to take the team, because now I am starting to think that we're just going to be too good next year. Like, the top six is really rounded out. Brandon Peary, Ashton, Tyler Johnson, they can all go. Obviously, we'll eventually have to bring in some cap whales, but I just think we're at the point where the team might be too damn good to be able to drag down with trying to get certain players to develop. We also have a crap load of RFAs, but we do have $55 million in cap space. So that's kind of the thing. And I want to hear from you guys again, since we're at this really crucial point in time. What approach do we take? Again, you look at the forwards, and that's pretty much it. Sort it by who has the best potential, and these are the guys to get the spot at the NHL level to try to get them to develop. Same thing defensively. Obviously, I think in terms of the low elite defender, Gannon would get the shout over Baker or Humphrey. Or, defensively, it would look like this. Morales, Korchinski, Backer, Doan, McCutcheon, and then probably James, maybe Prokop. That is the question. Overall or potential, do we think this team could be bad enough next season that it's worth trying to go for the lottery one more time? For now, that'll do it. Thank you guys, as always, for watching and supporting, of course, the main channel, the second channel, the podcast, all that fun stuff. I will see you tomorrow. Looking forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.